So yeah, if you don't know me, I'm Jan. My pronouns are he and him, and and if there's anyone here who has some visual impairments, I'm a white male with brown hair, and I'm from Ghent, Belgium. And I'm heading the RevOps and operations community, where we're constantly holding events like this. So yeah, back to Operations Hub Enterprise and Snowflake Data Share. A couple of weeks ago, we talked to Stephen McMillan of the Datasets team, another one of the core features of Operations Hub Enterprise. But today we're talking to the Snowflake Data Share team, and we have with us Meaghan Griffith, we have Taiwo Ideo, and Porek Farrell, who are the people who actually built all of that. So it's amazing to see all of them here. We will get into them just in a little bit, but I just want to do some light housekeeping before we get started. This is a Q&A as well. So if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A button below so we can easily monitor that. And if you want to talk with us directly about your use case, or if you have a question specifically, you can also use the raise hand feature. That way I know that you want to talk to us and I can ask you to unmute your mic. All right, so let's get started. Let's get an in-depth look into Snowflake Data Share. Meaghan, feel free to get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jan. We're really excited about this. And thanks everyone for coming. We really appreciate you taking the time. We're excited to share what we've been working on with you. While I'm going through this, I would be really interested in the chat if people want to drop in. Are you currently using Snowflake Data Share with HubSpot and you're a current Ops Hub Enterprise customer? Is that something you're just thinking about? Like, just out of curiosity, if you're open to sharing, would love to know who's using this today and who's just kind of starting to look into it, so we can kind of cater our chat to that information. All right, so my name is Meaghan Griffith. I'm a product lead who works on reporting at HubSpot. I've been working on product and specifically reporting for about 4 years now. And this past year, I worked with Taiwo and Poreg and our team to build this amazing new integration between Snowflake, which is what HubSpot feels is the best-in-class data warehouse, with HubSpot. And so this is a really powerful data share that brings all of your HubSpot data into your Snowflake instance, so you can kind of do whatever you want with it from there. There's kind of endless possibilities at that point. But I want to talk to you a little bit about it, so before we kind of get into it. So this year, actually on November 1st of 2021, we launched a brand new tier of HubSpot called Operations Hub Enterprise. Operations Hub Enterprise includes, like Jan said, the datasets feature and also the Snowflake Data Share feature. These are both really powerful reporting focused features that unlock new capabilities with the data that you have in the HubSpot platform. Operations Hub Enterprise is just at the beginning. We're really excited about where we're taking it next year too. What is the problem we were solving when we built this? So the problem that we hear from all of you, from our customers, from the folks that we talk to all the time, a real pain point for it's really every company in the world today is that it's really difficult to have the source of truth for decision making to move the business forward. And so some examples of how we hear that problem come up from our customers and in the market is like, data is not necessarily all in one place. And so therefore I can't get an accurate answer and curate what I need to move forward. Multiple sources of truth is a big problem we hear. So you've got Salesforce, HubSpot, Snowflake, someone over in department B is using Google Sheets and someone over in department C is using Excel. It's a mess. And so having those multiple sources of truth can really make running the business difficult and, again, make that strategic decision making more laborious. Things not being up to date and things being hard to use are also big problems we hear a lot. HubSpot invests a ton in ease of use and UX and that overall experience. And so we really wanted to see what we could do there. And yeah, so no source of truth is a big problem we wanted to solve here. And again, we did launch Datasets, which solves this set of problems as well, but within the HubSpot platform for use in HubSpot's reporting tool. And so Datasets really can empower your frontline teams by allowing the data savvy folks, probably like the folks on this call, to prep data, to apply advanced calculations to it, and to have a reusable source of truth data set for use in a visualized report or for analysis on its own. It's really bringing in like net new powerful data management and data kind of curation features in HubSpot that we haven't had before. So this is also an Operations Hub Enterprise. We're going to check out Snowflake today, but if you have Operations Hub Enterprise, this is really something worth checking out as well. But yeah, Snowflake Data Share is the other feature. This is what we're going to talk about. What we heard is that a lot of our customers who have a more kind of advanced organizational structure have moved off of their CRM or their kind of team-based point solutions for their reporting, and they're moving into a world where they have their data warehouse and maybe ETL tools that are bringing data in from multiple sources, or they're building their own, and that data warehouse plugs into their BI tool for more advanced visualization. Here are 3 examples we hear quite a bit from our customers that are in use. And so with that use case in mind, and knowing that, you know, HubSpot reporting is not for everyone, we launched this Snowflake Data Share. So this is really for those of you who are parts of scaling companies who are investing in a modern data stack, who want to write SQL using kind of your like Snowflake instance, but in order to plug those tables into your BI tool of choice. What's amazing about it is it really kind of simplifies that process of getting the data from point A to point B, which we'll get into today. This is just a visual representation of what Data Share does. And let's see what else I've got in here. And some benefits. So one huge benefit here is that almost all HubSpot data is available in the Data Share. There's a couple of data sources we're still working on, but it's just about 99% of all of your HubSpot data is going to be available to move from the HubSpot platform into Snowflake via the share. Speed and update frequency is a big benefit we hear from customers. There's a 15-minute update frequency. It's a little bit longer for event data, but that's a pretty amazing benefit compared to competitor tools. We've really optimized the tables. We'll give you guys a closer look at this today, but we recently worked on like a V2 version of the tables that you get with the data share, basically all of the views of your HubSpot CRM data. We optimized that a bit for those BI use cases. So we'll give you guys a look at that. And then reliability, just like if you have a ton of data in HubSpot, this is something worth looking into for you. If you've got the team to manage Snowflake and you have the right people in place and you have a lot of data to work with, this might be a really good fit for you. So those are some benefits. One caveat is that we currently only support certain AWS data centers with Snowflake Data Share. So if you are using Snowflake within the US East 1 or EU Central 1 data store, then we can support you. But I do want to make really clear that in the first half of next year, like within the first 6 months of 2022 and hopefully sooner, we are going to move to support all data centers. So if you are not on one of these, not to fear, support for your data center is coming soon. We're going to cover the whole gamut. We're also working on, like I said, additional data sources and further optimizing and adding data sources. You're going to get more up-to-date data in the data share today than you would from our APIs. And so that's a big benefit if you're an API user of HubSpot. We're going to keep investing in this. We're going to keep optimizing it and hearing your feedback and making improvements. So we're not just kind of like setting it and forgetting it. We have a team on this. So if you have feedback, we're here to hear it. And that's about it. I think what we'll do next is we actually wanted to show everybody a couple of examples of how the data share works and how you can kind of see that HubSpot data in kind of a demo environment of Snowflake. And so I'll pass it off to Porig or Taiwo, whoever wants to take over on this one, to show everybody a little bit more about some examples of how you might query HubSpot data over on the Snowflake side. And if you guys have any questions about what I just said, pop them in the chat and I can get to them there.
Okay. I think I can proceed with that. I'm going to share my screen to show some examples of how we might query the data that we just obtained from the data share. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, so in this case, we are looking at a database that has been created from a share, and we have managed to import the share into our own account. So the share would have a database of its own, which we can decide to go ahead and name. So we are working from the perspective of a customer who has a Snowflake account and who has managed to import their database, who has managed to import their share into their account and created the database from it. So we initially started with a V1 version or schema of the data share. Here we add views as essentially, and because they are views, it's reflected the information as soon as it was updated on HubSpot's side. So you can imagine that a new batch of data is posted to your HubSpot API. You don't need to wait till end of day or till a set time to get that data available to you. In as little as I think 15 minutes, you can have the data available for you to query. So we add this as views in the first version, and then we came up with a second version where we added tables. The tables combined what's it called? It combined the convenience of query and query performance with the what's it called? With the speed that we already have in the views. So because these tables are available right in your database, it doesn't need to reach into HubSpot Snowflake accounts to query the data. So depending on the latency of the data that you are looking for, you can either check for the data in the tables or you can check for it in the views. That's what we were able to provide. So I'm just going to run a couple of queries to show how you can use this kind of data, how you can query, and then the kind of value that you can get from this kind of data. This is us trying to get a count of all the deals that were created in this present quarter in a particular pipeline and trying to see their current stages. Maybe we want to monitor the progress of our deals or something related to that. So we can have up-to-date kind of information. This is the kind of data that you will probably get from maybe a reporting tool or from the data dump from HubSpot's API. But you can also get it from the data share as well. So I can also give another instance of where we want to get the progress of all the deals that were created in this quarter in that same pipeline, and see like a kind of funnel to say how many of these deals has gone through which of these stages. I want to know the progression of all the deals as they have happened since the start of, or since the creation of the deal. So this plugs into our deal history table to see what the deal has gone through. That's why it's taking a bit more time than the initial query. Okay, so yeah, so we can see this is the progression of each of the stages, and we can see how all the deals in the pipeline have fared over their life cycle. These are just instances of what we have, and most of all of our non-event data is in objects and object properties table and view. If you go to the sidebar to check, you can see most of our object data there, and our event data will be in event specific tables or views. So like we did before, this is just to give us some information on the query that's on how our email has performed over time. This compares different email events with one another. This is something that's even not available in the reporting tool, because we have just one event there that can be queried. But with your data share, you are at liberty to query query as many events as possible. Okay, let's scroll up to. Excuse me. So as we can see, we are trying to look at how our email campaign have performed over time, and we can see the different kind of metrics that we want to check: the number sent, the number delivered, and we can try to track how they've been performing, how the click count varies with with the send count and other kind of useful information. We can probably also say we are interested in how our customers. We just don't want all contacts. We want to see how our customers have interacted with the emails that we've been sending them. This is what this second query does. Trying to run Snowflake. Okay. Okay. So this is telling us how it has fared for, or how customers in particular, not just any kind of contacts that we have interacted with our email. So these are just examples of the kind of value that we can derive from data shares as it stands today, and we keep adding more data sources. So maybe if there is one that is not there at the moment that you might need, you can let us know in the chat. Thank you. Over to you, Jan.
Yeah, thank you for explaining those queries. I think that was very great to see. Just how deep you can go with data share. I think that leaves us. We talked about data share in general. We talked about some specific use cases. So I'm going to open it up for the Q&A. Let me share my screen quickly with everyone. I wanted to share a little bit with you. Okay, I hope that everyone can see that. So if you have any questions for us, please drop them in the Q&A. Or if you want to, talk with Meaghan or Taiwo or Porek directly, you can click on the raise hand feature, and that way I know that you want to talk to us, and I can allow you to talk with us. But there's one question that I had already for maybe Meaghan or Porek or whoever wants to answer that, and that's, you mentioned that we're 99. Data share covers 99% of all the data in HubSpot. Is there anything you're currently working on to include, or are you waiting for feedback on one of the other data sources?
I'll let Poreg take that one. We have a couple of things in the works, I believe.
I think form submissions are probably the most notable thing that's missing at the moment, and they should be there very early next year. They're just about ready to be added to the share. So yeah, so I think that's the main one that's missing right now. But there's probably some other things that aren't quite available yet, but if they're not in the share, they probably don't have a great API or other way to get at them yet anyway, so basically if it's
you're kind of limited with APIs and stuff like that. That makes sense.
The plan going forward is that the share should expose pretty much every new thing that gets added to HubSpot as quickly as possible, but we haven't quite hit that level yet, but that is the idea. The share should in the long run be even more fully featured than the APIs, or should at least match all the APIs combined. So
all right, thanks. Let's wait a couple more minutes to see if any questions from the audience come in. Maybe it doesn't really need to be a question. If there's any feedback or things that you have tried with data share that you want to talk about, feel free to do so. We're all here to learn from each other. It's not a one-way street.
One thing I would add to what Porg just said is there's also, when we say 100% or almost 100% of data, it also includes custom objects and custom events and those custom kind of data sets and data sources that you're setting up on the HubSpot side. And so it's pretty comprehensive in that way to whatever customizations you're already making in the HubSpot platform.
All right. Well, I don't see really any more questions coming in or any hand raises from the audience. So we're at the 26-minute mark. I think we should be good to call it quits here. This is being recorded, of course, so if you want to rewatch it or share it with any of your friends or colleagues, you can of course do so. The recording will be made available tomorrow in this post in the community. I'm sending it in the chat right now. So just check that tomorrow and you will be able to access that recording and share it with anyone you need. Also, if you have any questions, when you think back on it tomorrow or next week, feel free to drop it in that community post as well. And I'll make sure that Meaghan and her team see it and are able to answer it for you as well.
Definitely. Yeah, we'd be happy to answer any other questions that come up. All
right, cool. Well, thanks everyone for being here and spending time with us and learning more about data share. I want to thank, of course, Meaghan, Poreg, and Taiwo for elaborating and explaining everything that data share has to offer. I'm very much looking forward to all of the new updates as well coming in next week on form submissions and everything else we talked about. Should be very exciting. And yeah, I guess one last word. If you're celebrating the holidays, I hope you enjoyed the break and spent some good time with friends and family. Thanks again, the Data Share team, for being here, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, and bye.
Thank you.